Okay, we are back with yet another episode of Cleaning and Restoring. I've been binge making these for a while. I have officially run out of things to do after this episode, so there will be a bit of a break. But hopefully my friend Tio will find some more things for me to do. Or I'll find stuff. Either way, we are doing a Nintendo 64. That was last episode. We are doing an NES joystick controller. Now, I've never seen one of these before. Never even known they existed until he gave me this. And I'm warning you now, if you're actually following along with this at home, which I highly doubt you are, be cautious. These things are a train wreck to take apart and put back together. But regardless, I did it once. I figured I could do it again, so I'll do it for you guys. So the first thing, just like everything, is to... And also I'm warning you, if for some reason you're taking this apart just to get to this bottom piece, don't bother because it's hardwired, which means you can't get it disconnected from the electronics. That's why this one's so dirty still. But I'm going to try to clean this thing a little bit better because I did not do my fair share of good jobs on this one. So the first thing you're going to do, like always, is take them apart, take all the screws out. So there are 4 screws on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are also 3 on the actual joystick itself down the side. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and take all 7 of those total screws out. I've gone ahead and taken 6 out of the 7 screws out, but I need to take this last one. This last one out on video because the handle will basically fall apart as soon as I take it out. So once you take these 3 out, you're going to be able to get the electronics that are inside the joystick. And I'm warning you guys, this thing is a nightmare, but I'm doing it for you. So once you get those out, actually it did stay together, I thought it would fall apart. You can take these 2 halves off. And here's one right here. This is actually already dirty again. I might just re-clean the whole controller. And you can see the electronics inside there and the 2 buttons. And now you can go ahead and slide this piece off along with taking off your 2 buttons. Now, fun fact, which obviously you're going to catch this, these 2 buttons are actually just one connected to each other. It's like a little pincher type thing on one. It's a hinge, that's the word I was looking for, not pincher. And there are 2 motherboards right here. They're both really tiny. You can slide them out of their holes, and you don't need to remember about which one's which because they only fit in one hole. And so you're left with this piece of plastic. And so now you can go ahead and lift off this plate right here. And what you're going to have to do is kind of lift it and feed these little, I was about to say mords, motherboards through the hole. And then turn it upside down. You can see it's wired, but don't worry. It's just 2 screws. So what you're going to do is take a smaller Phillips head screwdriver. And you're going to quickly, and I'm going to do this on camera, I apologize in advance. You can go ahead and skip this if you want to. But you can go ahead and take these 2 small little baby Phillips head screws out. And it's not too hard to distinguish between these and the other ones. So once you get them out, this piece of motherboard will lift out, and you can get your last screw out, or at least I can try to. There we go, sorry about that. You can get the motherboard out of the way, and then you're left with this little switch right here. This is obviously washable as well. Along with this whole piece, you got it by itself. This is washable as well. So now you're left with this hunk of mess. And it can be taken apart further, so to speak. Like you can rip this analog stick out, because yours might have already came out, because that happened to me the first time, because I tried to get them apart. But if you rip your analog stick out, don't worry, it's not the hardest thing to get back in. It's also not the easiest, but whatever. And you can, just for proof, you can lift your motherboard out, and there you go. It's hardwired right here. There's no way of disconnecting that from inside here, as far as I know, at least. I could try pulling it through, but then I'd end up getting cut off by the plug. So this bottom piece of plastic is not washable. You can obviously clean it with like Q-tips and stuff, and spot clean it with wet Q-tips, but you can't actually go full on just dunking it in water and going to town on it, which is exactly what I want to do because it's so dirty, but you can't do that. Now, where's my last screw at? Because I know there was one that got stuck in here. There it is. So that's the basic deconstruction. I mean, I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but putting it back together, that's where the hot mess comes into play. So if you're going ahead and washing it, which I'm sure a lot of people are definitely going to be washing one of these. I'm sure everyone just has one laying around in their back pocket. You can go ahead and wash this top plate, your 2 buttons that are basically 1 button, your 2 handle plates, and this little switch, along with however your method is of cleaning all this off, because you can tell this is gross. What's this called? That's just a brand name, SVI. But yeah, I'm just going to call it a joystick controller for the title because I don't know what else to call it. But that's the basic deconstruction, so you can go ahead and use your own cleaning methods, and I will see you guys with the reconstruction where everything goes straight into the fan. I apologize in advance for any background noise you hear, because if I'm really quiet, you can probably hear that like humming noise. Yeah, I'm sure you guys can hear that. But basically, there's construction going on outside my house. I have no clue what they're doing. They're digging a giant hole literally in the middle of the street. I mean, they're completely cutting off my neighbor's driveway. I don't know. There's a truck blocking my driveway. I don't know what's happening. I just know that they're digging a big ass hole. So yeah, I've been waiting for about an hour and a half, trying to wait to film the second half. But they're not going away anytime soon. They're still digging away like no one's business. So I guess I just have to film it over them. I'm sorry for the background noise. Like I said, I wish it would be gone, but I can't. So I cleaned everything. This piece came very clean. There were a few scuffs that I didn't get the last time, but I got them this time, and it looks very clean now. The inside's still kind of dirty right here, but I got that the best I could. It's sticky. I guess someone spilled soda in this, because it's all over the electronics too. I'm afraid they don't even work, and I'm doing all this for nothing. This was already clean from last time, so I didn't bother. Same with this. The only part that was dirty was the inside, because I didn't get that very well, but the outside was already pretty clean. I mean, it's as clean as I can get it. I don't know what the hell they're doing out there, but it's getting me kind of pissed, because they woke me up, too. It was like 9 o'clock when they started doing it, and it's not a weekend, but I'm still on Christmas break for school. So what we're going to start with putting it back together is this hunk of mess, and I cleaned this off the best I could. The bottom piece came kind of clean, but not very clean at the same time. I just went at it with Q-tips. I got all the surface dirt off, but like this heavy dirt right here, I can't get off even with a magic eraser I used. So first off, let's untangle all our wires here, because I don't know how this all happened. But so this is really a big mess. So the first thing you got to do is remember how this goes in. And I don't remember how it goes in, to be honest, but once I figure it out, I will gladly show you guys. Alright, this is tangled yet again. I mean, I told you guys from the get-go that this thing was a nightmare to take apart. But I did it for you guys. Okay, so it definitely doesn't go this way, I'll tell you that much. Alright, it goes this way. Alright, well, it definitely goes this way. I don't know what we're stuck on, to be totally honest. Actually, we're not stuck on anything, now that I say it. So it goes this way like this, and the thing that's probably keeping yours from being out is this joystick. Oh, for God's sake. I swear, if they start using that jackhammer again, I'll just have to kill someone. And so, the jackhammer stopped once again, so I'm just going to get right into this. This is from 1988, by the way. It's called the QuickShot. So I did find a thing to title this by. But so, next step would be to get the joystick back into place, and basically you just have to kind of, I mean, the only way I found to do it last time was to just kind of shove it on and hope for the best. But so you need to line up the spring under here with this hole, and once you do so, you gotta jam it on. But make sure when you put it on that, first of all, that it makes this sound when you click it back and forth, because you want all 4 directions to make that clicky sound. And you also want to make sure that the screw holes are going through this direction, so they're going this way. If they're going this way, then your controller's not going to be facing the right direction when you hold it, and it's not going to be very comfortable at all. So that actually went on better than last time. I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. So now we're going to carefully lower this piece back on and make sure it lines up correctly. This on-off switch goes on this little switch back here. And make sure that it's in the off position, or on position, depending on where you had it, but just make sure it's lined up with the position the switch is in right now. And then just kind of drop this back into place onto the joystick. And again, you have to feed what did I call them, mords or something like that? You, again, have to feed the motherboards through like that, and then drop them back into place. But obviously it's not right yet, because that's not there, so you got to take it back off. And I guess, in theory, you should have done this beforehand. My bad on that part. So you're gonna go ahead and take your this little switch and drop it back into place like this. There we go. once it's in place like that, you take your mold and put that back into place, and it goes to the brown side facing you. Although I can't seem to get this to want to reach. There we go. And once you get that there, you can go ahead and put your 2 little Phillips head screws back in to hold that in place. Alright, my bad, there was some faulty camera work there, but I got it screwed back into place and everything, so now we're going to go ahead and put it back on. And so again, you're going to feed your mords back through. That's my new term for motherboards now, is mords. So you're going to go ahead and feed your mords back through. And then reach it over the joystick and drop it back into place. Make sure none of your wires are clipped on the outer edge of it. Like right now I got a wire hooked in there that I can't actually get back in. Try to tuck it out of the way. There we go. And so this happened last time. There we go. It's kind of hard to get it locked back into place because it never wants to fit for some reason. So at this step, all you have to do is put the joystick part of it back together, and that's kind of one of the hardest parts. The second hardest part would be actually getting this black stick back into place. But so before you go to put the joystick back in, I would suggest actually putting the 4 screws that hold this back together on, just so you don't have to worry about that later, and you don't have to worry about it falling apart right now. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this back together real quick. Alright, it's time for one of the hardest steps, putting this bad boy back together. I got it all screwed back together. I'm going to re-clean this one more time with cleaning products after, because it's still not very clean. There's some spots that I missed with the Q-tips. But I mean, there's only so much I can do whenever he gives me something this dirty. But so you're gonna go ahead and take your gray plate that has these 3 cylinders on it and the cradles for the mords. Sorry, this piece is not the one you want because it won't actually hold anything, but this one obviously will. And the joystick goes in this direction. So actually, I believe so. I shouldn't say that because I'm not 110% sure. But so what you're gonna do is basically you find which motherboard fits in where. And they fit in really snugly into their holes. Like this one I can't get to fit in. It's not going in, so it most likely goes right here. And it does. Same with this one. They each only fit in one way. So now comes the hardest part. You want to get these gray cylinders to feed through the holes on the joystick. And the problem with that is there's a huge tube of wires. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but there's a huge tube of wires feeding down. It always ends up getting straight through the middle. So what I did last time I did this was I took a screwdriver with a small Phillips head bit on it, and I kind of shoved the wire out of the way. The bottom one's harder to get, so I would suggest trying to do that first. Yeah, whoops, I got the screwdriver stuck. But there, I just got it through. You can see the gray holes are all lined up now. So once you get the wire pushed out of the way, you want to take your buttons, your little hinge thing that I called it, and you're going to shove that back into place. And this is a whole mess in its own to get back in because it's just such an odd shape to fit in. I almost had it. Alright, so once you get that in, and you're going to take the other half of your joystick, fit it back on into place, and it should fit okay. I mean, it didn't fit perfectly, but so now I'm gonna go ahead and put my last 3 screws back in, and I'll show you the end result. I put all the screws back in, and I retaped the wire that was starting to fray right there, and I think overall it looks pretty good, and I'm pretty proud of how it came out because that sound is hard to get, and along with both the buttons work. I had to actually take this gray thing back apart because one of my buttons got stuck, but the suction cups even work so well that it's hard to get off the counter that I'm working on. But yeah, the buttons work, the joystick works, this switch in the back works, and these buttons work. I haven't actually tested this, and I don't think I can test it because I don't have any NES games used to play with this. But overall, I think it went pretty well. So thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, thank you for watching, and please leave a like or subscribe.